The game industry has been in shambles lately. In fact, it's been going down the tubes for the last 10 years or so, which has given rise to a new favorite type of article of mine that I would like to call the emo writings of game journalists. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and we're going to go over one of those articles right now from The Gamer. Why even make games anymore? Yeah, you start to see these every so often. They're becoming more and more frequent, but you'll get them from Polygon, Kotaku, The Gamer, Game Rant, PC Gamer, all the usual suspects just lamenting the state of modern day gaming without actually acknowledging that folks like me and Smash AT and Hypnotic and Cassie and Geeks and Gamers and all these individuals have been talking about this for years, for literal years. When you combine it all together, you can even go back to the times when like Chris Raygun was covering stuff like this, but they never asked the right questions. They just whine, bitch, and moan because that's what communists do. So we're gonna go over this article. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, and you guys are in for a trip. I'm sure you've seen articles like these, but I think it'd be fun just to start our Friday off kicking back and having a laugh at these absolute troglodytes. Why even make games anymore? No, really. Why? We've hit another week and another massive layoff, this time from a company that makes one of the biggest games on Earth. Yeah, I just because they make one of the biggest games on Earth doesn't make them immune to layoffs. Like, Disney makes some of the most famous movies of all time, and used to. Those movies made money. But Disney has had layoffs. Like, I don't know if you understand how capitalism works, but just because you're making a big game, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily doing financially well as a company, and these layoffs are pretty justified. Oh, and this follows the very same company laying off 100 people in 2023. Yes, I know, I wish it had been 101 or 102, or really more than 100, because none of these people deserve their jobs with the state of modern day gaming. As we've seen over the last couple years, even working for a well-regarded, legendary developer is not enough to save yourself. And while we're finally getting the sequels to series like Dragon Age, let's not forget BioWare also fired one of its most experienced writers, a writer who, it's worth noting, literally created some of the most important lore of the series. And yet, articles and outlets like you are sucking off the new upcoming Dragon Age game that is literally anything but a Dragon Age game. And now, all of a sudden, you throw a fit that they fired the writer. They got rid of the writer. But make sure to buy the new game because, the new Dragon Age game is going to have a bunch of representation and be all about LGBT ideologies. And it's going to be really good when it comes to the marginalized individuals out there.
That's stupid! You're stupid! Stop being stupid!
I love articles like these. If you think this is whining now, just wait. We're finally getting the sequels. Oh, I'm sorry. So again, why even make video games anymore? The love of the game is no longer a good reason. Here's where they go all in on throwing a fit about capitalism. Capitalism, the thing that made the video game industry what it is, the thing that made it the largest entertainment industry in the world, that brought forth incredible, amazing works of art that we got in the 90s to the mid-2000s. You can go back to the 80s. Yeah, let's just blame people wanting to make money. Oh, I know. People make games because they love them, not because there's money in it. First of all, you should tell that to corporate executives who make these decisions because, Buster, they are not on board with your theory. Those suits would never accept less pay or worse working conditions because it's an industry they love. I'm pretty sure the CEO of Nintendo literally cut his own pay, that way nobody had to get laid off. Now, you could say this is a problem in Western gaming, and I would absolutely agree with you. However, it's only a problem in Western gaming because the dichotomy between what corporate thinks the individual wants and what actual gamers want has radically altered and changed, mainly because of a rise in activism on outlets like X, where people think real individuals exist and thrive, when, trust me, X, formerly Twitter, as you writers would so often say, is not actually the real world. So yeah, if you want to throw a fit about the corporate suits putting all this, money grubbing and then the game's failing, the games are failing because people are not buying it because it's not actually being catered to gamers. It's being catered to activists who don't have jobs, who go out and spend all the workday 8 to 5 protesting whatever political ideology is their flavor of the week, and because they don't have jobs, don't have the money to go home and buy a $50, $60, or $70 game. It really is that simple. But of course, blame the men up suits, blame the men upstairs, the men in the suits, because what do you want? They're listening to you. What about all those articles you've written over the last several years about how great representation has gotten in gaming, or how, oh man, we need to get all these misogynistic fucks out of gaming, and lo and behold, there's no dudes in video games anymore, and the dudes there are absolute beta cucks. They're all frail and non-binary looking and shit like that. Like, you gotta pick one. You're either getting what you love, and gaming is being made, there's great strides being made for representation in the gaming industry, or yeah, you are getting all that stuff, but it's actually bad for business, and it's causing all these layoffs that you write an article about every month, sometimes multiple times a month, throughout all these various outlets. That's only something that that's only something workers who have to hear again and again and again. You think the corporate executives who killed Tango Gameworks did it because they care about good video games so much? You think the massive okay, I'll give them that about Tango Gameworks. That was that was a sucker punch to the gonads. Conglomerate shuttering studio after studio are doing it so we can only get 10 out of 10 masterpieces. Come on, folks. Again, you say that, but I guarantee you that when the new Dragon Age game comes out and you're able to hump every single character because nobody is straight and that makes you so excited because you've written articles about it, you are literally going to call it a 10 out of 10 masterpiece purely for that alone. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the game that has a no-die mode, because that's all you game journalists can even use to get through the game to make your review. That's a 10 out of 10 game right there, baby. Perhaps you believe that these unending layoffs are an economic necessity. Interest rates have changed. Companies overspent during the pandemic. Sure, fine. Let's roll with that excuse. It's not an excuse, by the way, that is what happened. Follow-up question, who made those financial decisions during the pandemic? Because people talk about corporate financial decisions like they're natural disasters and not something controlled by humans. But here's the rub, friendo. You are correct. At least you're half correct. Yes, the corporate suits upstairs did make the decisions to start hiring all these individuals and start bringing on more workforce and really expanding their operations. But they're doing it for products that nobody is buying because the modern state of gaming is a cesspool created by activists like you who are cosplaying as gamers. It really is that simple. Like, this can all be looped back to you being the damn problem. So again, who made the decisions that led to those problems? Was it the writers getting laid off? The musicians, developers, producers, support staff? None of them made a poor financial decision. Look, I know plenty of writers. I definitely know plenty of musicians. Oh my god, so many of them make poor financial decisions. Now, obviously, they're not making it, like, up top at the high echelons of industry gaming. But I'm just saying, trying to make the excuse that the writers and musicians don't make poor financial decisions. Oh, homie, you clearly don't know any writers or producers or musicians. The business executives did. Wow, okay, wild. Now, who... Also, yeah, okay, you've got this big issue with capitalism. You're throwing a goddamn fit about how corporate capitalism is working in the gaming landscape. Explain to me how your communistic ideologies are going to save it. Tell me what about communism or Marxism or whatever ideology that you ascribe to because you think that Karl Marx was the greatest person ever and you're probably a secret fan of Mussolini and Che Guevara. Maybe even not so secret knowing you guys nowadays, but the point is, what about their financial, their economic practices would save the gaming industry? I know that's not the argument you're making, but the point is, you need to actually make an argument aside from, hey, I'll tell you who to point the finger at, when you got the four fingers pointing back at you, because this can all be rooted back to your dumbass activism. Now, who makes the games that actually bring in the money? Is it those same business executives? Here's a clue. No. But somehow the workers who make the games are the ones who get, yes, the games that aren't selling. It is really that simple. How you make, again, article after article. I think we're up to 24,000 video game industry layoffs in the last 2 years, 2023 and thus far in 2024. 24,000 layoffs in the industry, give or take. 90% of that is because these games are not selling. Now, I'm not going to try and claim that they're only not selling because of DEI, ESG, woke activism. No, clearly there are more to things. We're in a financial recession. People cannot justify $70 on games. But let me tell you, it gets real easy to justify not spending $70 on the game when you've reinvented Jill Valentine and she got herself a goddamn man job because you can't have her looking beautiful and feminine while also carrying a gun and standing next to Chris Redfield because for some reason that is, I don't know, misogynistic. It's still all your guys' fault, regardless of how you want to twist it. They're the ones that get thrown off the side of the ship, and that's just the cost of doing business. The artist should have known better before taking a job at a company run by a person who will never suffer consequences. No, the audience should have decided not to be a non-binary with Free Palestine in their bio who got in based on being a DEI hire instead of actual skill or talent that could have gone to someone normal out there. But again, you can't get the job being normal because you need to show how the representation of your business. Oh, we're Bethesda. We're going to make sure that we put our, very, very obviously homosexual individual out there with a bright Pride Bethesda shirt to talk about the modern audiences of the upcoming Indiana Jones game. An Indiana Jones game that, by God, actually looks somewhat decent. I still can't believe I'm saying this, but the point is, y'all care more about optics and showing you care, putting on some sort of fake queer capitalism, than you actually care about making good quality products, because in your mind, different is better. Representation matters. How far has that representation gotten you? We're not even going to go over the rest of this article. They talk about the indie scene having its own problems. The fact of the matter is, it's an absolute joke. Again, these writers grew up wanting to get into writing for politics while listening to way too much My Chemical Romance, and every bit of it shows. I think that my buddy Dragon Slayer Commentaries said it the best. He told me, I showed him this article, and he told me they're literally trying to promote nihilism in the game development without even bothering to find out why we got to this point, because that would require questioning the people whose dick they've been sucking for years. Yes, it would, because if you point the fingers at the actual individuals, yourselves, that would mean admitting that that you're incorrect, that you're wrong, that what you've been doing is not working, that you have made gaming for the worse, which is 100% accurate. You might lose some of that sweet, sweet access because, oh no, we're gonna have to go back on everything we've been saying for the last 10 years, everything we've been preaching about, everything that we've been fighting for, and we've been fighting for it for literally superficial optical reasons. But again, like I said, color me shocked.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
I'm at a loss. I love articles like these, but also it sort of drives me crazy because on the one hand, they are absolutely hilarious. On the other hand, these are the people that the game industry is listening to. They're taking a look at these articles from Game Rant, The Gamer, Kotaku, Polygon, etc., 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 and they're like, oh, what are we going to be able to do to please these individuals because something isn't working? Our games aren't selling. Our games not selling because people are reading the words that they're writing and taking them seriously. Let me tell you, Bethesda and Nintendo and Square Enix and Capcom and any of you other corporations out there, these motherfuckers aren't real gamers. They do not represent the actual paying customers. So if these are the people that you're listening to, yeah, no wonder you're laying off 23,000 individuals over the course of the last year and a half. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about the complete failure that is the video game industry, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course get involved in the discourse with over 80 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further because we do care about diversity, but only one kind of diversity of thought. And if that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.